Put this up there on the screen. There's so many things that I want to say about this. First of all, it's the headline, Trump waved off Israeli strike after divisions emerged in his administration. Let's break down this extraordinary report, clearly leaked from the administration, kind of as a screw you to Israel, and showing their plans for what they presented in the Oval Office. Quote, Israeli officials recently developed plans to attack Iranian nuclear sites in May next month. They were preparing to carry them out, and at the time were optimistic the United States would sign off. The goal of the proposal was to set back Tehran's ability to develop a nuclear weapon by a year or more. Quote, almost all plans would have required the United States help not just to defend Israel, but also to ensure that the Israeli attack was successful, making the United States a central part of the attack itself. For now, Trump has chosen diplomacy over military action. However, in his second term, he is eager to avoid being sucked into another war in the Middle East and has opened negotiations with Tehran, giving it a deadline of just a few months to negotiate a deal over its program. Earlier this month, Trump informed Israel of his decision. The United States would not support an attack, discussed it with Netanyahu when he visited Washington just last week, and told him in the Oval Office that that was not going to happen. Quote, Israel has long planned to attack Iranian nuclear facilities, rehearsing bombing runs and calculating how much damage it could do, but support within the government has grown after Iran suffered a string of setbacks just last year. They think that they're weak and that they can strike now. Now, according to them, there were plans on the table not just to facilitate the bombing, but then to require and push the United States to bring more military assets to the region. Remember how we were covering here on the show about all the new military assets that are headed that way? It was specifically after a push by the Israeli government on this. Now, thank God for now.
This must have been what Tucker got wind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. And so looking inside, it's very interesting. There were, quote, a range of officials who spoke out against any of these attacks. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, said that the buildup of American weaponry would potentially spark a wider conflict with Iran the United States does not want. J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, and apparently also Susie Wiles, the White House chief of staff. However, the idiot dunce Mike Waltz was also in the room, quote, frequently one of the most hawkish voices on Iran, and while he was skeptical about Israel's plan to succeed without U.S. assistance, backed the plan anyway. And there are several people who are inside the administration who are openly supporting this, people like Marco Rubio, many other outside voices that are in the admin. So I do not want to downplay. This is good news and it's bad. So the good news is that they have opted for a deal, quote, on a timeline of a few months for now, before any sort of strike is on the table. The bad news is, I happen to remember the Iran deal. It took years to get the JCPOA to be negotiated. Second to that, as you guys covered yesterday on Counterpoints, there is a full-scale purge happening right now in the Pentagon. There have been 3 top officials who have been kicked out of the building in some sort of crazy power struggle. I haven't fully gotten all the details. Nobody really seems to know. All I happen to know is that the people who are most on Pete Hegseth's side and who are the most America first just happen to be frog marched out of the building. Okay, that's not good, right? These are the very people who I would want right around Pete Hegseth, who would be quashing some of the stuff that's happening. Mike Waltz, meanwhile, even though he literally put Jeffrey Goldberg on a signal chain, oh, he gets to stay, right? But these people who they're accusing of leaking, they're getting frog marched. Interesting, got it. The point is that personnel around Trump is pure chaos. In some days, Marco Rubio's in charge. Mike Waltz is still around there. Some days, he's listening to JD and he's listening to Tulsi Gabbard. But there is no guarantee that he doesn't just turn his head and listen to the other guy.
Yeah.
We have Steve Witkoff, all those guys, they're in control for right now. But as we saw with the ceasefire deal, they can be out of power momentarily. Nothing is guaranteed and or certain right now. I don't think the stakes could literally be higher because, the Israelis, you have to admire their chutzpah. They don't even develop war plans without U.S. backing. They don't even pretend to have an operation that doesn't mean, hey, Big Daddy, you have to come in here and actually do something about it. So let's all be very clear about what this strike and all of that means. It's also, the thing about Bibi is he's not even creative. This is the exact same plan that he came up with in 2009, that Jeffrey Goldberg, by the way, is the one who revealed about and tried to push President Obama to support Bibi to do. This was 15 years ago. It's the exact same plan, almost to the letter, about what the U.S. is going to do and how Israel was going to be the tip of the spear, but the U.S. would be the overall security umbrella there. So that's where we're at right now. the deal is currently being negotiated. The timeline is not good. Trump could change his mind at any time, and the fate of the world is hanging in the balance.
And what Emily was saying is that the people who want him to go with the Bibi bomb Iran plan, they're saying like, oh, you're just negotiating a deal just like Obama.
Yeah, no, they are. That's what they're doing.
To try to get under his skin. And I mean, unfortunately, there is some truth to the fact that any deal that he would get would probably bear some similarities to what Obama did. But that is, I mean, first of all, I think the original deal was actually a good deal. It was one of the signature achievements of the Obama administration. It's really unfortunate Trump backed down. It's also unfortunate Biden didn't get back in, something we covered extensively at the time. But I have Dr. Trita Parsi, evaluated and analyzed this New York Times article. And I just wanted to share his insights because he's such an expert here. He says, number one, last week, Trump told Israel that the U.S. would not support an Israeli attack on Iran while talks were being conducted. That's the headline from the piece. He's saying these are the key pieces to take away from it. Number two, in the Israeli plan of attack, the U.S. would have to play a central role. Israel itself has no military option. So that's what Saagar was saying. Keep that in mind. Number three, still, the Israeli plan would only push back the Iranian program 1 year. More attacks would be needed after that. That means Israel wants to bring the U.S. into a forever war with Iran.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about here. Number four, he says, more importantly, the 2015 nuclear deal pushed back the program much more than a year, so that was way more successful. And then he says, Trump appears to understand negotiated solution better achieves his goal. Well, we'll see. We'll see on that front. I hope so. I hope he can be persuaded of that. And I hope they're able to negotiate a deal because this would be insanity. This would be utter insanity.
It's not good. I did want to put some positive news. Let's go to the next one, please. Trump has reappointed Adam Boehler. You'll all remember Adam. I remain a Boehler stan. He's the guy who said that we're not a client state of Israel and who was relentlessly attacked by the Israel lobby for daring to want to negotiate with Hamas directly, and who said, we're not a client state of Israel, and who knows, maybe they're good guys. Remember, this guy is friends with Jared Kushner, and they still were able to sideline him. Seems to be back. He's being appointed to, quote, expanded hostage envoy role. We're not yet sure how that is all going to work out. I'm told the Israeli ambassador directly intervened to try to screw over Adam Boehler, so that's what we're dealing with.
Interesting.
Let's go to the next one here. Again, just more a little bit insight. This is from Barak Ravid. He's mostly getting leaks, it seems, from the Israeli side. But what he's saying is basically that the president kind of needled Bibi Netanyahu in the Oval Office when saying he would not greenlight the Iranian attack and kind of tried to force him to accept the fact that the U.S. was going to pursue a deal. But they have several senators and others, Mike Waltz, Marco Rubio, Tom Cotton, Lindsey Graham, people who have their ear of the president, and then the Israel lobby specifically, behind the scenes, is whipping harder than they have ever done, since 2015. They have the entire infrastructure in place. The tweets are being sent, the calls are being made. I mean, these people never underestimate their abilities. As I said, as I watch people who I know, America Firsters getting frog marched out of the Pentagon. So I don't remember Mike Waltz getting frog marched out of the White House, even though obviously he deserved to, and they went to bat for him. So don't forget that.
Well, Laura Loomer did claim some scalps.
Yeah, some low-level guys. I don't care about some guy who's staffing Mike Waltz. Mike Waltz is in the Oval pushing war. That's what matters more than anything. That is actually the only thing that matters at the end of the day, because this is all up to Donald Trump in the Situation Room. Right now, we have relative parity between Tulsi Gabbard, Pete, and JD versus Rubio and Mike Waltz and a few of the other neocons that would be on the National Security Council. But I mean, you can see how quickly things can turn just like that with Donald Trump. So I have no idea. Right. And I do not underestimate the Israel lobby. Their ability to get on Fox News and to pump all this bullshit straight into Trump's brain. And so things could be headed in a bad direction. All right, Krystal, what are you taking a look at? Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.